Welcome, everyone. This is once again your host, Shailesh, and what a spirit today is all about Christmas. All the way from US, all the way from Canada or Colombia, whatever world we call it, we have got a beautiful guest, as always, our amazing speaker, Lorna Gale. And we are going to today, out of topic, not anything to do with our emotional mind or well-being, but it still affects us because when there is a festive mood or when there is a change of events in our life or the system or the world allows us to change, and today is a very changing environment that we are going to talk about is Christmas, because Christmas is on the way, Christmas is along the way, and everyone is looking forward to this one moment. But we can have Christmas every day, as we always talk about it. But let's talk about what is spirit of the Christmas for everyone in this time that we all have seen so many things, and since COVID we have been struggling with our mindset of enjoyments and of our disappointments, but also our achievements and encouragements for all the years along. And we look forward to this end of the year event, which is start of the year of the new as well. So welcome, Lona, for this amazing topic that we have chosen today. I don't know what we're going to talk about it, but we are going to definitely enjoy this because we are in the spirit of Christmas.
That's right. Hi, Shailesh. It's good to be here with you again, and I'm looking forward to, as always, being in the mystery of what arises from these conversations that we get to have together.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going to go back a little bit. It's many years, thousands years, how many years, we don't know when this started. But if you have some light or if you have thrown light, why do we do and why do we celebrate certain historical moments or historical days, whether it is history, whether it is real, whether it is only illusion, whatever we can call it. But we ourselves are also, we don't know whether we are existing or we are just an illusion, but we have these beautiful stories to take with us and beautiful memories to create with everyone. And that's the beauty. I like this topic is because it's not about one person, it's not about one community, it's not about one thing. It's a celebration that everybody gets involved, irrespective who they are, where they come from, right? So tell me, go back to the memory lane, thousands of years, or whether it is real. What do you see? How do you put this Christmas, Christmas Day? How do you put this?
It's what a great topic. I'm excited for
Mm,
yeah, for this conversation. Certainly, it seems like there's almost this paradox, and
yeah.
um, on one hand, there's the aspect of looking at things from a religious perspective, and another perspective, there's the Santa Claus, the
Mm,
Saint Nicholas, Father Christmas, all of those types of things. And in some ways, they almost can seem contradictory. Um,
true.
and interestingly, when I start to look at and sort of tease apart what
Mm,
is the essence of each one of those, in some ways, they're really, no matter how they're dressed up, there's
mm,
the heart of it is really, I would say, that the same thing or common threads that are woven through there. um, Looking at, and I grew up in a Christian home,
yeah.
so very much grew up with that. The purpose of Christian, or that Christmas, why it's there is,
Hmm.
because of baby Jesus coming, and this whole thing of, this this sexless conception that happened, and that, this whole thing of spirit, or of God coming into flesh.
Mm,
Um, and in some ways, you think, okay, well, there's always the question. I remember, well, how could that happen? And even though there wasn't much about sex education that happened, there was this mystery about how could this be?
yeah. Hmm.
Um, and interestingly, when I was teaching school, I
Hmm.
remember having this great big huge. It was this beautiful, beautiful, huge, big coloring book, but it was really about the Christian or the Christmas traditions around the world, and each one of them has the essence of a gift that is given. So in the Christmas story of, from the Christian perspective, that Jesus was the gift that was
Right.
given. And so that piece about where we around the Christmas tree,
Mm.
where we the gift giving time. I think that's where we when we talk about the spirit of Christmas, that there's that essence of the gift, a gift that is given, a gift that is received. So I'm just going to just pause there, and let's see what questions come up, because I know you have such great questions always.
Yeah, the interesting bit is you said that and you touched on that, there's something that has come without ever knowledge, without, as you said, like with the baby comes in without sex or whatever we call it. But the good thing is also Christmas talks about the family. And that's where I was very much intrigued. Like, okay, baby arrives, but then it's talked about, as you mentioned, Father Christmas, then the Lady Christmas, and then we have got these kids involved, that the Christmas gifts given to those kids and also to the humans. So it talks about humanity. It doesn't talk about, even though it comes as a religion, one aspect, but the other aspect is a human aspect where we all exist in this universe and we all need mother and father and the kids to evolve along with each other. So when I
Mhm,
see that, I see it's a very great message to the human race or to the humanity that, we need to respect every single element of humans that we are born
mhm,
into. So that birth is not just a birth. That born is not just a born. It's bigger than what it has. As we always say, a meteorite comes and destroys, but something comes and constructs, and something comes and constructs constructively and keeps evolving. And that's something I see it as. This birth is not an ordinary, or this everything, every birth is not ordinary, to be honest. However, there is something, certain things that we have to make believe things, or the spirit itself makes us who we are. So when
mhm,
you look at that angle and all that stuff, family is one of the key ingredient of this whole birth coming into life, and Christmas being celebrated by the family, not just by one person, or not just by woman, or not just by man. It's amazing that how everybody can get involved in the
mhm,
spirit of Christmas.
mhm,
How do
mhm,
you see that, this concept of like human journey or humanity or whatever you call it, in terms of what we experience? And this spirit of Christmas is like not one moment or two moment or morning moment or evening moment. It's every single moment we enjoy and we resonate and we try to live like a
mhm,
Christmas gift for us. It's a gift
mhm,
in real sense. May
mhm,
not be in physical sense, but in our mind, body, mental, it's a gift for us to divert ourselves into a different altogether journey for those particular moment, right? How do
mhm,
you see this impacting lives of humans, impacting lives of family? And then we talk about there is no family, but yet enjoy Christmas is for also those people who doesn't have family, who wants to be a part of the family, and everybody is accepted around that time. And it
mhm,
doesn't matter who they are, where they are. If they don't have family, if they don't have anything to celebrate, we include them to celebrate. And there is
mhm,
no qualms about it. And
mhm.
there is no questions about it, right? It's a very powerful thing. How do
It
you see this? Yeah.
mhm. It is. I see that in many ways, Christmas has uh, the power, number one,
Mm,
to really, like you talk about, emphasizing the family, that togetherness, that
mm,
connectedness. And
mm,
for many people,
mm.
Christmas can also be the hardest time of the year because number one, they might not have a family, maybe
True.
through death or loss of some type or alienation from their family. Um, and and as you mentioned, that there's often that time of inclusion, like, yeah, come on in and be a part of it. And there are other people who feel very much on the fringe of it. So in
Yeah.
some ways, again, it provides this experience of this um, it's not even necessarily saying that this is the way it should be, but just recognizing how it creates for some people, the extremes of different things. For some people, it's, lavish celebrations and, you know, all kinds of parties and, that type of a thing. And to somebody else, it's that shivering in the cold and the wet, all alone. So it really brings up that the extremes of our human experience.
Mm.
And and when we can look at together, or what is the spirit of Christmas, in some ways I see that it gets distilled into, no matter what extreme is showing up, that
Mm.
what is the spirit of Christmas? I take that even to look at the gift of the human experience. That is the ultimate gift, if you will,
Yeah.
that spirit comes into this human experience. Um, I look at it as, when I was growing up, seeing it was a very much a literal, this one baby Jesus, that was it. And,
Mm.
went on to be the savior of the world type thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but I see it as that was an example of what it's like, of spirit coming into this human experience, into a baby form, which is, dependent on everyone around them for their well-being in the human experience, if you will. And yet being there, not able to, didn't have words, could hear sounds, but there's no sense that, oh, that's what this means. There's no meaning
Mm.
attached to it. That, just taking everything in through that senses. And as I say, the gift of being human is to feel. And as we come into this human experience, little by little, we start to not feel things, because some things
Mm.
feel, oh, it's too intense, it's too dangerous, oh, I shouldn't feel that. And
Mm.
so sometimes our feelings get shut down.
Mm.
So as we go through our various day-to-day experiences and our various festive occasions and experiences,
Mm.
there's always those gifts of feeling. What does it feel like to be in family, in celebrations? What's it feel like to be in the cold and alone? So
Mm.
it's this, the gift of being human is to feel. And that means feeling the whole range of what is here to be felt.
Absolutely. And I mean, touching on that family aspects and further ahead, like, we always think, as you read, festive is one mindset, but also positive mindset that I feel during this time, that everybody needs to be positive, everybody needs to be supportive, helping, and the whole people who are negative also, they want them to be positive. So it's a complete shift of, mindsets that people want to be in this during this time. And some people then could carry that same mindset, which they may not have this mindset, but now after this moment they might continue to do, because that's what they realize, that, oh no, this is the real journey that we should be doing. So from that angle, I was thinking, like, also when we talk about the realities of today's system, Christmas should not be considered as a bad moment or omen for many humans, because when you look at companies, certain companies closing down or making redundant people during Christmas, and it seems a bad moment. It's not a good thing to do something like that on a Christmas time.
Mhm.
And that, in spite of the fact that they know some companies do, some people do, and then they make from positive, they have negative impacts and negative effects. And just to be mindful of all those things, how do you see that, when we are all positive, we should be remain positive, constantly, consistently positive, not just through the festive season, but also throughout the whole after that, taking further in our life. How important and impactful it is when you see it. As a child, we don't know what's happening, but as a age, teenage, and then age old, we understand more and more how important it is. How do you see the importance grow from you as a child to teenage to major, middle age to now, whatever you are in zone, the impact of this festive season? And when you look around your neighbors, and when you look around your friends as well,
Mhm.
give me your insights
Yeah,
on.
certainly as a child, there was the magic of it, to be able
Yeah.
to, the excitement building up, And
Mm.
even now, my four grandchildren, my four young grandchildren, they're
Right.
excited. They've been making their Christmas list, for a month now, and
Right.
excited, counting down the days, and um, so it's just there's that, and I remember that as a child, that excitement of it.
Mm.
um, and how can it be, the morning of, and keeping our ears open, we're going to hear the jingle bells and the Santa, and the reindeer hooves, those kinds of things.
Mm.
um, and then there's the Christmas concerts that happen, where we sing the song and we act out the play of
Mm.
the baby Jesus birth.
Mm.
And so there was absolutely that magic when there were, and if there's young children here, cover your ears type thing, when it's discovered that is no actual Santa that comes down the chimney.
Mm.
In some ways there's that a bit of a bursting of the bubble and trying to make sense of, well, what do you mean? And um, for some parents, there's even that piece where they can go different ways. They don't use the Santa thing because they think, well, we don't want to deceive, and think
Mm.
make it seem like there's this, but then, oh, actually there really isn't one. So does it create some lack of trust?
Mm.
That's one of the lines that people come. And other people, I know that one family that I'm aware of, they talk about when their children, as they come of age, of asking the questions like, no, I really want to know the truth. Is
Mm.
there a Santa?
Mm.
that that's where the parents will say, actually, now you get to be the Santa, you get to be the giver of the
Mm.
gifts, you get to look at how you can. And
Mm.
this sort of carries on with what
Mm.
you were saying about, in that day
Yeah.
to day, every day of the year, be that spirit of Christmas
Mm.
throughout the year, which is that piece about the giving, that being aware of other people's experience.
100%. I completely agree with that concept. People don't understand the concept. It's not about like whether the Santa is real or not. What he does is what you have to understand, and his actions or the mindset or the thoughts that he has got for everyone.
Mm-hmm,
And that is so important. And that's why I say, even in other religions, there are many festives, whether it is Diwali, Festival of Lights, they don't understand the underlying meaning. Those events have happened or not. It's not about that. The concept that they are messaging through that channel is very
mm-hmm,
important. And I think with that, it's so amazing to understand for everyone who are listening, is like, you can, as you rightly said, we all can become Santa. There is
mm-hmm,
nothing stopping us to become Santa, and there is nothing stopping us to preach what the baby Jesus then went on to become and did it. So everybody has got that power to become the Jesus, and it's all within your own mind and body, right?
mm-hmm,
So it's that's why it is an amazing to talk about this topic, because I resonate with more the concepts rather than, oh, whether it is real or whether it is fake or not. It's not about that. It's about the concepts and the philosophies that we live with, because we create our own philosophies, we create our own, and there are certain things that has been created in the history that we follow, or that we tend to take the good bits from it, you
mm-hmm,
know, to make our
mm-hmm,
journey more beautiful and more approachable, call it, or very creatively, but also like touching the hearts and lives of souls that we are. So that's why we take talking about the spirit, that it's not about just who we are as spirits. We are spirits, but then the spirit of Christmas is something that we all spirits have to live, basically, and take our actions. So coming to some of the things that what you see that should really take its now, the nature, as we say, the nature should take its own course and all that we talk about a lot. But then this Christmas period is all about like materialistic thing. When I look at, okay, one is the materialistic, that we collect gifts and all that, and we give gifts and all. But then people who can't give gifts and all, they still go and have some spend time with those people or with the family, or family dinner or family lunch or whatever Christmas time that we do. That's also is a gift. So not necessary gift should be in material things only. How do you see this as, it's is it when it comes to concepts and philosophies?
mm-hmm,
As
mm-hmm,
there is a saying, it's not what you gave, it's the thought that counts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
see that?
I agree that there's um, that aspect of being aware of um, what somebody might like to have or to
Mm,
do. Um, there's that part of somebody people love. There's that sense of loving to give. You want to do it. And I do know that around this time of the year, it can be a very joyful time. People who just love to give, and for them to go and shop, it's just that joyful, joyful place.
mm,
Other people would love to do that and maybe don't have the funds to do it. So there's this place of shame and somehow, a
guilt.
pulling back from that. Other people just kind of um, don't really like shopping and I would rather just be together with the family, forget the gifts. That
That's
being
right.
together is a gift in itself.
That's right.
Um,
Mm,
and also there's such a place of when there's that sense of, oh, I have to give a gift,
mm,
then it's a whole different energy to it. And I think that that's where, different people that I talk to, and as I'm hearing people talk as well, it can be such a stressful time because
yes.
there's the pressure to do certain things, whether it's about gifts, about getting together for certain things. There's families that are coming together where there's tension that's not addressed. That's just the dynamics of the family. And to go there, people, often say, well, I should go, I need to go, I want to go, but I don't want to go.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so it's just I see it just really as a, um, a very much a pressure cooker, if you will, to
Mm,
really be able to find out what it is that's really true within ourselves that
mm,
maybe we haven't acknowledged. Maybe that, yes, I would love to, host a big thing. Yes, I would love to be by myself.
mm,
Yes, I don't want to be with my family. And I think that that's where, when we can allow the pressure cooker, if you will,
mm,
to that container to hold tight, it gives the opportunity for people to really, as I say, to be true to themselves, find out what's true to themselves, and then the opportunity to be true to themselves, not just to be aware of it, but
mm,
to live and come from that place, whether it's about gatherings,
mm,
celebrations, gifts,
mm.
what they believe. I think that's where one of the things that it
Yeah.
serves is that place. And again, here in the northern hemisphere, where it's at the darkest time,
Mm,
the most dark of the year, it's that time to really, can we really go in and really find out what is true for me beyond what I think I should do, what I've been told I shouldn't do, what I'm supposed to do. All of those things kind of like, what would I choose to do if I wasn't living according to somebody else's expectations or traditions that we've always had, what would I do?
mm,
And I remember um, the first year after my former husband and I were unmarried,
mm,
and I was living by the ocean. And my Christmas, my Christmas, and my daughters, our daughters were away,
mm,
doing their thing. They were grown adults, and my Christmas, I went down to the ocean and threw rocks in the ocean. And it was such a beautiful day of celebration. It was what I felt like doing, but it wasn't, where are you supposed to be for the dinner? Where are you supposed, it's kind of
mm,
like,
mm,
no, this is
mm,
what my soul is saying. This is what I would love to do beyond tradition, beyond habits, beyond expectations.
mm.
This is the song that my soul was singing that day.
But also when it you talked about opportunity, and I want to take this opportunity to talk about these opportunities that this occasion creates or makes for everyone. We talked about whether material things someone can buy and affordable, someone can't afford to buy gifts, but someone choose to be with the family, as you said rightly, and people take time off and time to go and make it a point to visit their family, no matter wherever they are, whatever distance they are, just for the sake of the festive and just for that reason, at least they get an opportunity to meet. But I want to talk about opportunity to solve the what we call it in our things that okay, we have been unhappy with some of our relations. We have been not talking to some of our relatives and friends and colleagues. How do you see this also is an occasion, as an opportunity to make the amends, to create that sense of togetherness once again, who have drifted apart for whatever
Mhm.
number of months or years or reasons could
Mhm.
be?
Mhm.
Don't you think this is also an opportunity that gives with the festive everybody in positive mood that okay, let's go and solve our issues that we had and let's come together? How do you see this as compared to giving gifts, or as compared
Mhm.
to, I want to meet, or no, I don't want to meet, but I want to solve my issues and I want to move
Right.
further? How do you see this as an opportunity?
I think it's a beautiful opportunity when that happens, to
Mm,
be able to come together and let the past be the past.
mm,
Or, sometimes it can be that blank slate, as you mentioned earlier, right? It's at the end of a calendar year and into a new year. So
that's right.
too can it be, the end of a one way of relating, and can we step into a new kind of relationship? I think that there are probably a lot of healings that do happen at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and from that very reason, as you mentioned.
Mm. And time is the essence of everything that we want to take. And this occasion makes you or compels you or forces you or whatever you call it, but it is an opportunity to, give your time to something that you want to
Hmm.
make a life further ahead.
Hmm.
And to do that time, people always say, I don't have time because I'm making money or I will lose money. And
Hmm.
they to measure all these things.
Hmm.
And Christmas doesn't mean that you should lose money or you should gain money. It's not about that, because it's something that you want to do, because it's only once in 1 year it happens, and you may don't know how many Christmas you are able to witness. How do
Hmm.
you put this when I put you this question?
Mm-hmm. What comes up, Shailesh, is that of um, that it's a global, for the most part. I mean, there are some cultures that don't celebrate Christmas as such.
Yep.
Um, but even within each culture, whatever special celebrations there are that
Mm.
maybe carry the spirit of Christmas but by a different name, however
Correct.
that is,
Correct.
that it seems like there's the collective, like there's the family unit, there's
Mm.
the culture, like it's a collective thing,
Mm.
that sort of at this time that collectively we're gathering and
Mm.
living into this, the spirit of Christmas, what that is, that seems to be this opportunity to, as we talk about, some healing that can happen, to
Mm.
be able to really sink into that that perpetuation of the human race that
Mm.
family represents. And I would say that there's also this opportunity to um, that self-assessment, that self-reflection, but
Mm.
to be able to cherish those times where, yes, in the busyness of life and work and all of those things, that there's this time that collectively, yes, let's regroup, let's come together again.
Mm.
And it's sort of like this, a harvesting, if you will, or a replanting. Let's come together collectively for this time, and then we start into a new year. There's
Mm.
something, seems to be that whole life giving, the cycle of life seems to in many ways be represented in the spirit of Christmas.
Also, don't you think also it's like a motivation for going into the future, motivation for the further things to pursue, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we don't know how many Christmases are we going to witness, and we can't predict that. But we know that this occasion is an opportunity to do many things, to,
Mm-hmm.
to create many things, to
Mm-hmm.
go back to and reflect many things. So I'm
Mhm.
going to ask you this very interesting and final kind of maybe a last or second last question, but not a question, but it's more about when we talk about Christmas or any festive season, the first thing that human mind comes is to be absolutely perfect and perfection and accurate things to do and not fall anywhere or make any wrong decisions or fault anywhere, which means it creates this festive season creates a stressful moments, a stress of whatever it is. Our mind is overwhelmed, and I sometimes we make decisions in such mindset. But Christmas is a season that first creates a stress, it seems like, for many people. But for many people, it's a great moment. They're looking forward to it. And some people, it's like a stressful moment. Oh, I have to do this Christmas. I haven't done this for so many Christmases. This time I have to do this time. And then other person, they know I have gave you last time I gave this gift. I want to give this gift now. This different. So still it is a stress, whether you want to give or you don't want to give, whether you want to meet or you don't want to meet. You're always constantly thinking this stressful moment. How do you think and what do you think really realistically after we have seen some Christmases, in your view, that what as a message to all the listeners that Christmas can be stressful, but only when you think it is stressful or when you make it stressful, or how do you put this to the listeners when it comes to stressful moments?
Mm. I would say the stress-filled moments come from that which we have been taught, and even as I say, by divine design,
Mm,
created to experience the opposite. When we've been taught to live outside of ourselves, to look outside of ourselves, to be, whether it's permission, validation, acceptance, partner, pleasure, authority, all of those things, we've
mm,
been taught to look outside of ourselves for that sense of, well, what's right. So the stress would come from, well, I should do this. Says who? Well, it needs to look this way, according to who? And so it's usually to be able to become, when we talk about mindset, is to look at what are the thoughts that are happening there, um, whose are they, where are they coming from, and what would it be like if we just lived in that place of what is true from us from the inside out? What would we do? And then the invitation is to come from that place, and it often, then the stress can start to be alleviated because there's not that sense of, am I doing it right? Is it good enough? What will people think? It's just, this is what I feel like doing. Wow, this is awesome just the way it is. Or I'm going to try to make it even more brilliant. Or I feel like being by myself.
mm,
So when we can live from the inside out, all of a sudden, I think that's what's tapping into the spirit of Christmas. That's the spirit of Christmas is an inside job,
mm.
not an outside job. And when we can experience it from that place, that a lot of the old stories can start to fall away. And what is lived is the true spirit of Christmas.
So coming to this thing, when it looks at spirit of Christmas, the spirit of Christmas should be very positive, very much, enjoyable, joyful, and no kind of qualms or stress, anything. How do you see the behavior of humans that we change during Christmas? And sometimes we haven't seen that person behaving like that, but all of a sudden during the Christmas time, it's totally different.
Mm.
And so, do you think in this context, I'm asking you this as a normal, common human that we are, and we behave during the festive season, and particularly during the Christmas time. Do you think that behavior everybody's liked by should be continuously, or should we just wait for the Christmas day to behave like that? Can't we behave every day like that, like a everyday Christmas? How do you see
Mm.
one as a message to the listeners?
Mhm. Mhm. I would say that that the very fascinating question, that the in the range of things that do feel where people are putting on that extra emphasis to be
Correct.
positive
Correct.
is, um, is in doing that, are they avoiding, are they letting go of some of the things that say, you know what, those other things, they really don't matter.
Mm.
And, so then can they go on from Christmas
Mm.
still being, those things, other things really don't matter. And
Mm.
I can live from this place.
Yeah.
Is it that positive things, is it, it's a trying to um, tuck away or not deal with some of the things that are there yet to be acknowledged. But here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this way at Christmas time. So I think that comes from, there's all kinds of different angles.
Mm.
That for me, it seems that the question, a deeper question could be perhaps that arises is that naturalness, does it feel authentic, or
Correct.
is it a mask that's
Is it a
put on,
mask? Yeah, fake.
to be able to
Absolutely.
be there? So again, that's where I come back to, if there was no right or wrong what
Mm.
to do, if there was no shoulds or shouldn'ts, no one else to say that,
Mm.
it didn't matter what anybody else said, thought, or expected, but what would Christmas look like for each one of us if we
Mm.
lived it according to, in each Christmas maybe being very different, but what would it be like if I just really honored what each of us wants? And
Mm.
sometimes that means, doing things for other people. And sometimes it just means,
Yeah.
today, this time, I'm just going to keep really something really simple. I'll
Mm.
take one gift for the whole family, or I'll do such and such. But it really starts to, and again, I think that's what it comes down to for me is where do we live Christmas from the outside expectations, the shoulds, the past traditions, and how does that relate to the inner world? Does that feel congruent? Does that feel like it's a an authentic expression of what is, or are they very different worlds, and can we dare to live the
Mm.
inner world?
Yeah, that's right. And this is where there are so many questions after this, but we are running short of time, Lona, because I think you are amazing to talk about and triggers me a lot of questions also to ask. So I've got questions like, based on this, what you just now said is like, people do pretend they are good in during this time, and some people are authentic, and some people pretend to be good just because for the sake of the Christmas mood or the Christmas spirit, we call it, and they want everybody's spirit to be good spirit during this time. So they can be a fake good spirit or a real good spirit, but we don't know, but it still happens. And so based on that, there are so many questions. Do we behave only that one day, or we should be really authentic on every single day? Because we don't meet these people only one day. We have to meet them every single day of the year. And we look forward to only 1 year to please. So it is like a very common thing for humans to please.
Mhm.
But based on that and all that, I wanted to ask you and to end this beautiful conversation. I don't want to end it because, but the Christmas spirit is there for me to ask questions. But I want to take this opportunity to ask you if, based on all these things that we spoke about and the mindset and the behavior of the human, and the gifts and the non-gifts and the meeting and engaging and going out of the way to meet someone with no money or with money, doesn't matter, but that's the spirit that everybody has got. What's your one thing that, if I have to ask you, Lorna, what's your one thing that when you look forward to Christmas that you think, I want to do this or I want to achieve this, or something that you are looking forward to do only during the Christmas time? Is there something like that that you want to do only during the Christmas time, or
Hmm.
for you, every day is a Christmas day?
Interesting. I think a two-part thing for me. What comes up really is that of family, of
Hmm.
just being with family and just shared experiences. And it's not even everybody has to do the same thing. It's
No.
um, just that celebration of family. And I think that it speaks to, because of, as you mentioned, really on, the whole thing of family. I think that's a big
Yeah.
heart call for everyone, whether it's our birth families, our adoptive families, our blended families, our families that aren't by blood.
Mm,
It's the collective, the human family. I think it really speaks to that piece about that wanting to belong, to know that I'm a part of
mm,
that sense of coming together, which I say at a big picture, the spirit of Christmas speaks to that um, that seed within, or that light within, that we all are, that connection to the all,
mm,
that when the light is fragmented into, little bits and pieces in here, and we put these as families, that there's that deeper longing or awareness that to come together is that representative of the wholeness, of the oneness that we are, not just in these nuclear families, but in a
yeah.
collective and in our spirit essence.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, we ended up quite nicely. You ended up with the family aspect because Christmas is about family, and the spirit of all is the family that we are looking forward to. It's a good thing when you look forward for your family to connect or reconnect or to engage or to re-engage. It's still a feeling, it's still a resonating inner peace that we are letting go everything and then meeting and then having that inner peace is one of the amazing things that a human mind, body, and soul can, be experiencing that. And I think we need to experience this every single day, not just on the Christmas day. So with that note, I think Lorna, it's amazing. And if you want to say any final word for the spirit of Christmas to every listener that is listening, that how do they should celebrate or what is celebration and what is the spirit really in few minutes
Mm-hmm.
or few sentence or couple of sentences, if you want to say something,
Mm-hmm.
what the spirit of Christmas really, really is for everyone.
Mm-hmm. For me, it seems to be is to, number one, the coming back to the gift of human being human is to feel. So give ourselves the gift to feel what's there. Give
Mm,
ourselves, then the second gift would be to give ourselves the gift, and the power of the gift is that of living true to ourselves. That I think that's one of the gifts that we can give to ourselves and to all around us. So
mm.
those are the two things that come to mind to share.
Absolutely. And with that note, I want to also say some things about Spirit of Christmas in my own version or in my own experiences. Being also studied in a Catholic school, I also have celebrated every year Christmas. I may not know the complete underlying meaning of the Christmas or the baby Jesus is and why it is, but one thing I know there's a power with everyone, and there is a power over and above that is giving us that power to create. And we all are spirits, however, irrespective of whether it is any religion, that aspect, religious aspect to Christmas or human aspects to Christmas, one thing I know that what I have understood, little bit with my own, that humanity has always been on the forefront over and above the festive seasons or the religious moments, because that's something that I always cherish. With all the religion, they only talk about humanity. And so Jesus also came on this planet for humanity. And I think that he has passed on the message quite correctly, nicely. And we just have to live. And that's why this reminder is the Christmas, that to come and share your humanity experiences and share your, tell us who you are as a being, not just human being, but as a being a human is what you are supposed to do. So with that note, I think Spirit of Christmas is amazing and enjoyable and also beautiful. Everybody gets gifts, everybody's looking for good things, new things, and looking forward for their own motivation and stuff. But I think, Lorna, this is amazing topic that we brought at a time when we all need some sort of motivation and some sort of understanding of the spirit, which is the spirit of Christmas. So with that note, I take all the listeners. Thank you so much for watching this amazing episode. But thank you, Lorna, for this beautiful topic. And we look
Joy, thank
forward to
you so
once
much.
again come back.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Shailesh.
Thank you very much.